The Mattingly Edge will walk in partnership with people and their families toward totally new ambitions. Together we'll work tirelessly toward new, exciting aspirations, new kinds of outcomes. The first of these aspirations is to help people be more present in their communities. Most citizens spend a significant amount of time in a variety of places, a variety of settings. So if you think about any given week, many of us would spend a fair amount of time in our workplaces. But we'd also spend our free time in our local communities, and so we would run errands, and we'd be in our local grocery store where we might choose which line to get in based on which neighbor is standing in which line or what cashier we want to catch up with. We might stop by and pick up prescriptions at the pharmacy or clothes at the dry cleaner. We might approach the counter and be known by name. We might go and take exercise class, yoga or swimming at a local fitness center, or a Bible study or a book club. We might stop by for a drink at the pub on a Friday afternoon. And on weekends, we might be found at the U of L football stadium or the Center for the Arts for a theater. We might spend time at our faith community or the farmer's market or the mall or even our favorite restaurant. We would attend a multitude of places. And there's all kinds of benefits for us for this. We learn how to behave. We learn how to act, what to talk about, what not to talk about. It gives us the chance to stretch our wings, to try new things and to challenge ourselves. But most importantly, it gives us the opportunity to meet people. But for many of the people we know, life is very different than this. The service system, by its very design, keeps people in separate places. And the infrequent opportunity that you get to experience a different setting or a different place, you're likely to go out in groups of people, probably to some place you didn't even choose to go on an outing that's been designed for you. Or you go to special settings, so you go to special prom or the special part of the church, or to a special art studio, special Olympics, or even go to visit and have dinner with other people who live in a different residence. And as a result of this being limited to residential and day services, day settings, people are made dependent. People are especially lonely. So as a first step, the Mattingly Edge is going to assist people to rely on typical community places. We know with the proper support, people can and will learn in regular universities and community college. They'll exercise at the local YMCA, work in a community business, live in apartment buildings with other people, other citizens.
I had 4 people come up to me during that party and say, "Oh my God, Graham is different." Well, he really is different. He's not the same person. There's a person in there that no one has seen. Community access is so important because coming out of the isolation is what changes people. These things for himself. He has hope for himself, and so that makes me have hope for himself, for Graham. It makes me think that, there is hope now. There really is hope. I've never felt that way before.
A second aspiration is to support people to be viewed in positive ways and to contribute to other people. Most of us grew up with the expectation that we would become responsible and respected citizens. So at a very early age, our parents assigned us chores. We might have taken out the garbage or fed the dog. As teenagers, we had part-time jobs and were responsible for doing our own homework. As a young adult, we may have signed our first loan for a car and made our own car payments or enrolled in college. And by the time we were adults, we were expected to produce income, to produce labor, to produce contribution. And this trajectory allowed us to become good at things, to prove ourselves, to make a difference to other people. And as a result, we enjoy positive reputation. We're respected for what we've become. Things are different for some of the people we know. From a very early age, the predictions were often that people would be dependent and would be in need of care. And so from very early on, rather than being challenged to perform and be responsible, people were taken care of, which resulted in people often being seen as burdens. And because of the focus so much on disability and what's wrong with you, oftentimes what you had to offer, what you were good at, either went unnoticed or wasn't put to good use. So for many people, a result of this is that they have poor reputations, that they're seen as burdens, as not having much to contribute, or even as children. Now, we know things don't have to be this way. People don't have to always be the takers and never have the chance to be the givers. At Mattingly Edge, we're going to focus on identifying people's gifts and competencies, helping people learn new and ambitious skills, and most importantly, shining the light on these gifts so that other citizens come to know people in a respected way. Mattingly Edge will assist people to fulfill the adult responsibilities and expectations, making community a better place as a result of their contribution, creating a playlist for friends, contributing a meal to the church potluck, being a good neighbor. We know and are confident that people will become seen not as needy, but as needed. Another aspiration at the Mattingly Edge is to assist people to have more meaningful relationships. We are, by our very nature, social beings. We all want to belong. We all want and need true friends. If we were to explore our own social network, we'd list a number of people. We'd list family, colleagues, neighbors, our lover, teammates, club member, church friends, and more. This would be the kind of list that would come to mind. Only when prompted would we add people like our hairdresser, our dentist, or the person who mows our lawn. The opposite is true for many people we know. When asked to list the people they know, the list would be almost completely limited to people paid to be in their lives, or other people with disabilities who also have a very sparse social network. It can be a terribly lonely existence. In fact, living in this kind of isolation is now known to pose a greater threat to health than smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. At Mattingly Edge, we prioritize the building and strengthening of relationships. We're committed to helping people meet new people based on shared interest, similar culture, or even neighborhood. We're committed to doing the work in a way that increases the chances that meaningful, mutual, and sustained relationships will result. It's easy to imagine people engaged in new relationships that are life-giving.
The whole change in perspective between having people in separate schools, separate programs, separate workshops, And this idea that is being able to have a job, being able to live in your own apartment or house and have the help that you need come to you instead of always being institutionalized, always being separate, is a revolution.
Another aspiration of the Mattingly Edge is to assist people to make more decisions, to have more choices in their lives. It's the decision and choices that we make, combined, that make us the unique person that we are. We have small daily choices like what to eat, what to wear, which television show we might watch. And these small decisions matter, but it's the big decisions that really influence the quality of our lives. What we do for a living, or where and with whom we live, how we spend our money, what we invest in learning, who we choose as friends. In fact, most of us would be quite indignant if someone else even suggested they should make these decisions on our behalf. We know many people who've been afforded very little chance to decide anything in their lives. Sometimes they might be involved in small choices, things like what color slacks to wear or whether to put whipped cream on your pumpkin pie. But almost never are people included in, let alone allowed to make the big decisions in their lives. This could be for multiple reasons. People are sometimes thought to be incompetent, unable to make good decisions. Sometimes folks would even say people don't have an opinion, it doesn't matter to them. Even when people are allowed to be involved in decisions, there usually are very few options offered. So the choice might really be between, do you want to live in the residential program that's at this address, or do you want to live in the residential program that's at this address? Mattingly Edge supports people to learn to make more and more decisions in their own lives, to have access to the information they need to do so, to learn strategies to help weigh those options. But equally important, the Mattingly Edge invests in creating more desirable options, options that actually match the preferences of the individual. It's our full intention to help people take control of their own lives.
I like to be around with some people who want to be around with me. I like to be around with them, know all about them. They can tell me all about the worlds and what they've been coming through and all that. And then I just tell them what I'm coming through.
I think I go like live on my own someday and like take care of myself. So.
After a while, we started seeing changes in Graham. I thought, well, this will give him a life, but I did not expect to see progress. I really did not. I thought he would be happier, and I wanted him to be happier. I wanted him to have a life, but I didn't expect to see the progress. Joey came home one day, taking him out to lunch, and he goes, "Oh my God," that's my husband, Joey. He said, "Graham just, ordered from the waitress without anybody. He just popped up and gave his order to the." He had never done that before.
The fifth aspiration of the Mattingly Edge is to help people grow and develop. Learning is a lifelong experience. We invest in learning things we care about, things that make our lives better. We take our investments in education and growing very seriously. But as the system is structured, people haven't had the robust opportunities to gain relevant skills, to learn skills that matter. For too many, too much time has been spent sitting around with nothing to do at all, just waiting. Too much time making childish crafts or watching instructors bake cupcakes in the name of teaching cooking skills. At Mattingly Edge, we take very seriously the importance of helping people grow and develop. We embrace ambitious possibilities for what people are able to learn and become. And we utilize valid learning practices that help people be successful. At Mattingly Edge, we want to help people become the best they can be, the person they were born to be.